Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we are reading the history book of class 8th, and here our topic is the uh, revolt of 1857. In the previous lectures we know about the causes of revolt of 1857 and the mutiny of Sipahis. Now today we will read the company's fight back. You know that in those days English was one of the mighty power in the world. They decided to suppress the revolt with all its might. They don't expect this kind of revolt in India. The revolt of 1857 shocked the company's rule in India, but after all, they decided to suppress the revolt back with all its might. But it came with some reinforcements from England, passed new laws so that the rebels could not convicted with ease, and then moved to the southern centers of the revolt. Delhi was recaptured from the rebel forces in September 1857. So, in this way, the rebels' rule on Delhi was few months in 1857, but the British recaptured its power in Delhi in 1857 September 1857. Here the leader of the rebellion, that was Bahadur Shah Zafar, he was tried in court and sentenced to life imprisonment. He and his wife Begum Nuzhat Mahal were sent to prison in Rangoon in October 1858. Bahadur Shah Zafar died in Rangoon jail in November 1862. So in this way, the last years of Bahadur Shah Zafar witnessed the miseries of the life in jail. The recapture of Delhi, however, did not mean that the rebellion died down after that. People continued to resist and battle the British. The British had to fight for 2 years to suppress the massive force of the popular rebellion. Lucknow was taken in March 1858. Rani Lakshmi Bai was defeated and killed in June 1858. In the similar fate awaited Rani Avanti Bai, who after initial victory in Khiri chose to embrace death when surrounded by the British on all sides. Tanti Tope escaped to the jungles of central India and continued to fight a guerrilla war with the support of many tribal and peasant leaders. He was captured, tried and killed in April 1859. Just as victories against the British had earlier encouraged rebellion, the defeat of the rebellion forces encouraged desertions. The British also tried their best to win back the loyalty of the people. They announced rewards for loyal landholders who would be allowed to continue to enjoy traditional rights over their lands. Those who had rebelled were told that if they submitted to the British and if they had not killed any white people, it would remain safe and their rights and claims to land would not be denied. Nevertheless, hundreds of sipais, rebels, nawabs, and rajas were tried and hanged. After what aftermath? The British regained the control of the country by the end of the 1859. So in this way, among 2 years, they suppressed the revolt and recaptured the power back. But they changed the policies. They introduced many important changes. Number one, the British Parliament passed the new Act in 1858 and transformed the power of East Indian Company to the British Crown in order to ensure a more responsible management of Indian affairs. The member of the British cabinet was appointed Secretary of the State for India and made responsible for all matters related to the governance of India. He was given a council to advise him called the Indian Council. The Governor General of India was given the title of Viceroy, that is the personal representative of the Crown. Though the measures that the British government accepted direct responsibility for the ruling India. This was the first change introduced in the Act of 1858. The second, the ruling chiefs of the country were assured that their territory would never be annexed in future. They were allowed to pass on their kingdoms to their heirs, including adopted sons. Number third, it was decided that proportion of Indian soldiers in the army would be reduced and the number of European soldiers would be increased. And in number fourth, the land and the property of Muslims was confiscated on a large scale and they were treated with suspicion and hostility. The British believed that they were responsible for the rebellion in a big way. And number five, the British decided to respect the customary relations, religious and social practices of the people in India. And number six, policies were made to protect the landlords and zemindars and give them security of rights over their lands. Thus a new phase of history began after 1857. These were the main spots or areas where the revolt emerged during 1857. First emerged in Meerut and second in Delhi, Bareilly, Lucknow, Faizabad, Kanpur, Jhansi. These were the areas where these were the main centers of the revolt. That is all about today's lecture. Thank you. Goodbye. Okay.